right, is that we have two-tier system of justice where they're arguing on the Supreme Court that basically everything that the left does is okay because they don't have corrupt intent, right? They're not
Hmm.
interrupting certain proceedings, right? Or they didn't do it in a fashion that equals to January 6th, even though they've done much worse. And we can point to examples where they've done worse, right? It's not the same. It's totally not the same. So in his trial,
Wow.
which we all know this is BS to begin with, they are having a hard time finding anybody to be impartial, right? They've only just now found 6 jurors after 2 days. They've dismissed over 50 people because they were not able to be impartial, right? So how in my argument is that how can Donald Trump even get a fair trial as one of the most famous people on the planet, no less, in the United States as being a former president? How could you not find somebody that is completely impartial? I think it's absolutely impossible.
They won because the media knew exactly what they were doing, man. So all this Donald Trump, all this stuff that's happening with these trials and all these indictments and all this stuff has been planned from the beginning. So they built up enough hate for the
Yeah.
man to where it's like rolling a dice on finding someone that's actually going to be fair with the man.
Yeah.
Even if they got somebody that was his supporter, it wouldn't be impartial. You know
No.
what I mean? So because it's such a divide in our country right now. You got what the left likes to call the MAGA Republicans or the Patriot Republicans, and then you got the
Yeah.
progressives on the other side. And there's a huge divide in our country. You're either supporting Trump or you're supporting Biden.
Yeah. That's pretty much
So
what it comes down to.
it's going to be very hard to find somebody, especially in the district they're looking in, to find
Mm.
somebody that's going to be fair when it comes to this trial. And again, this was all planned with all the hate and all the vitriol and all the propaganda that they were putting out about Donald Trump. They built this hate. And the reason I say that is no matter what comes out, even with Stormy Daniels, all this stuff that's cleared Donald Trump, the left still talks about it as if he did it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very hard to find somebody that doesn't watch the propaganda, doesn't pay attention to this hypnotic mainstream media that fools people, and it's no matter what they do, he's not going to get a fair trial. But at the end, I'm not worried about it. I think we win in the end, regardless.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing is that people don't even believe that he did it. Like
No,
there's a recent poll, 1 in 3 Americans doubt Trump's hush money crime. A recent AP Newark Center for Public Affairs research poll revealed that only 1 in 3 Americans believe former President Donald Trump committed a crime in New York City, in New York hush money case, with 65% of the population doubting his guilt. The public's skepticism extends to fairness of the case and the impartiality of the judge and the jurors involved, which we've covered. Like the judge absolutely hates Donald Trump. You can see it
yeah,
in his actions and how he treats them already. Like he does not have a fair trial because not only are the jurors not impartial, the judge is completely biased against him. Like
exactly.
the guilty verdict is already are assured based on just the judgment of the judge alone, right? He could
Hmm.
okay, so here's the thing. Even if the jury comes back and says he's not guilty, the judge can override the jury and say, "Well, I still think he is." So he is. So that's the whole point of why justice has to be blind and be impartial is because if you are biased in one way or other, it doesn't matter what crime you committed if you're guilty or not. We will find you guilty if we think you're guilty.
Yep.
That's the power a judge has.
And the biggest thing that will happen if, say, they do find him guilty and they do whatever they're going to do, they talk about whatever jail time. You know what that's going to cause in this country? You
Yeah.
think the people on the right are just going to walk away and say, "Oh well, it is what it is." Most people on the right with common sense know that this is a witch hunt. We
Yep.
know without a shadow of a doubt this is a witch hunt. So what it's going to do is going to end up making Donald Trump a martyr. It's
Yeah.
going to make him a martyr. Then the people of the right are never in their life going to vote on the left. You're going to see a revolt in this country like we've never seen, because
Yeah.
people are going to know that the justice system is corrupt. So why sit up here and follow all the rules if no matter what you're not going to get a fair shot anyway? So let's break them all and let's
Yeah.
show
No.
these people who's really in charge, and that's exactly what it's going to cause. And maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what they want. They want to cause an uprising in the country. They've been pushing for an uprising in the country. And then of course the people on the right are going to win. Oh, obviously. And then they're going to have to come in and save everybody and then create their new world order, and we
But
won't stop
here's
fighting.
here's the thing: is that people don't understand is that like the government only works on faith and legitimacy, right?
Mhm.
If the people lose faith in the government and they see it as non-legitimate, then it's not a government anymore because the
No.
power of the people are the reason that the government exists.
Mhm.
If the people say the government is illegitimate and enough of them rise up and say it's illegitimate, then it doesn't exist. Not that I'm advocating for that in itself, because I don't want to be misconstrued as saying that we should overthrow the government. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if the people that are
Mhm.
governed by this body view it as illegitimate and that is not fair and impartial and that the system is corrupted, then that's what's going to happen. Is people will view it as such and they will do something about it. Because that's what the Constitution allows us. That's what the founding fathers envisioned for people to do if the government became such,
Yeah,
right?
and
That's what it's for.
and you brought up the Constitution. That's a great point, because the
Yeah.
minute our country has gotten away from constitutional law and we picked up on this maritime stuff, this is where you start to see the down. This is where you started seeing the two-tier justice system.
Yep.
If our country just followed the Constitution point blank, no matter what, the Constitution, that's all we're going by, not some made up statue, not some made up over here where this state is different from this state and this county is different from this county and da 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 da. And the person that started this anti-Constitution push was Barack Obama. When the president of the United States gets up there and says it's just a piece of paper, it's just a piece of paper, he's telling you he doesn't care about the Constitution without
Yeah.
getting rid. He's telling you he doesn't care. He's telling you that they're going to
Biden said the same
violate the
thing.
Constitution. Yeah, Biden said the same thing. No right is absolute. Well, actually, those
Yep.
rights are absolute. All of them are absolute. But when they say
Yeah.
things like that, they're telling you, I don't care about the Constitution. It's just a piece of paper, and we're going to make up laws and we're going to do what we want to do. We're going to push the constitutional law. We'll talk constitution to keep the people happy, but really we're talking about this law, this maritime constitution,
Yeah.
this fake constitution we have over here. That's
Yep.
what we're abiding by. Our democracy, their democracy, not ours.
Our democracy. I hate that term. It's so
Yeah,
it's
their
so evil.
democracy. Their democracy. I don't
So
fall under democracy.
another proof of the point that it's corrupt is the fact that there's a juror that lied saying that they could be impartial when they have postings of around 2020 of them saying that they hate Donald Trump, basically is what it comes
Mhm.
down to. And that Donald Trump was complaining about it and the judge admonished him for complaining about it like under a hush breath. So they shows that the judge is not impartial and that they should file an appeal to get the judge replaced, but they won't. Right. And so there also the judge is trying to hold him in contempt already for breaking his gag order, basically saying that his free speech doesn't apply, even though he's literally campaigning right now and he's not allowed to speak on certain things because a judge said so, who has it out to get him in the first place. Right.
You know what's go ahead. I'm sorry.
One more thing is like one more thing. The things that he said already, he will not allow him to have a day off so he can go see his own son graduate high school.
No, I was gonna say that, and what's funny about that is, remember that Hunter Biden, his partner, that guy who was already convicted, but he's still running free and be able to do whatever he wanted when he should have been
Yeah.
behind bars. Well, remember that guy? They let that guy do whatever he wanted. He was convicted,
Yep.
found guilty, and he was still running amok, having fun, doing what he wants, showing up to Congress, testimony.
Yep.
Donald Trump hasn't been convicted of anything. And to tell the
No.
man that you can't even go to your son's graduation, to put a gag order on him, that's showing you, again, that it's a witch hunt. They hate
Yeah.
the man. If Donald Trump was black, if that was Barack Obama, he would have still been running around, going to his kid's graduation, having a good
man.
old time at Martha's Vineyard, traveling the world. Just make sure you're at your trial. Make sure you're at your trial, Mr. President. Because it's Trump, they're trying to mentally break the man. This is all psychological warfare. They got to understand this. Donald Trump's not breaking.
Yeah.
If the man was breaking, he would have dropped out of the presidential run a long time ago. He is not going to stop. He is not going to break. And let me say one more thing. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump robbed a bank tomorrow. I'm still voting for Donald Trump. And a lot of his supporters are. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So you guys can throw whatever you want at him. We have two people to choose from, Biden and Trump. We doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter what they do, doesn't matter outside of messing with kids.
Yeah.
We're still voting for Donald Trump.
And here's the funny thing. If you want to know how this is all BS in the first place, is that I wish they would work this hard to figure out the Epstein list and where Diddy is.
Yes.
And why Diddy isn't in jail. Like that's like, if you could work this hard to get Donald Trump, why can't you work this hard to get the people on Epstein's list?
You see?
Because she was convicted and sent to jail for selling children to other people. Who are those other people? I want to know.
It's them.
Yeah.
And
nobody's above the law, though. Nobody's above the law.
Yeah, no one's above the law. That's what Hakeem Jeffers always says on his Twitter. No one's above the law except for your friends, except for Hillary Clinton, except for Joe Biden, except for Joe Biden's son, except for Santos, except for this guy. You know, all those people are above the law. Yeah. But when it comes to Donald Trump, no one's above the law.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what about Prince Andrew? Yeah.
Yeah. Prince Andrew. I mean, the UK.
He committed a crime in the US. He can still be charged.
Yep. At the end of the day, we know what's happening. It's obvious to all these commies up there in Congress and everything, all these government officials, all these sheriffs, all these people, they're all communists. They hate our country. They all get paid somewhere, and they're all answering to their master. This is why they act the way they act. They don't care about the American people. Stop with all these cliche sayings about back this, back that, back this. Do I say there are good people in some of these organizations? Yes. But the organizations as a whole, at the top tier, they don't care about us.
Yeah.
Stop caring about what they say.
Or how Sam Bankman-Fried basically got to walk free for his dealings because he donated to a bunch of Democrats and they didn't want to be talk too much. Implicated.
If you say too much that they don't like, you just wound up in a ditch somewhere, and then it was like suicide. You know, that's what they always do.
You get mugged in D.C. and shot twice in the back of the head with nothing taken.
Yeah, nothing taken. You know, it just happened. I don't know.
Just a random robbery with nothing robbed. No,
you died in a paddleboat accident in 3 feet of water in Martha's Vineyard. I don't know. He couldn't swim. No, he could swim. It's 3 feet of water. He could probably stand in it.
Yeah, it's amazing how you drown in 3 feet of water.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. You know.
So here's some fun CNN bits.
Herself. I mean, today we heard Trump react audibly and start gesturing in the direction of the juror. This was a juror who was brought in for individual questioning to be asked about a post on social media, a video showing a type of celebration. The juror was questioned. Trump's lawyers believe that this was an anti-Trump event. It was around the 2020 election, which Trump lost to Joe Biden. And the juror said that she was just filming a New York celebration in the streets. The judge saying that he believed this juror could be fair. He said he looked her in the eye and thought she could be fair and impartial despite posting.
He looked her in the eye and said she could be impartial and fair. I just
what is he like?
And I knew.
Doctor Strange, he was just like, I saw her soul and I knew it. I knew she would be fair and impartial. You didn't know anything, man. You can barely tie your freaking shoes. You can't even make a decision on his case without your handlers and your masters telling you how to make a decision. You know this. We all know this.
Yeah.
But let's play the movie. And let's play the movie. We'll keep playing this movie. We'll play it.
So here's another one of those movies for you. Our favorite Rachel Maddow.
It's very true. Like, think about the fact that Michael Cohen went to prison for this. Michael Cohen did not have sex with Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen was not running for president. Michael Cohen received no benefit from this whatsoever. Why is he the one who is the only one who's gone to prison for it, particularly when it wasn't like...
Because he lied in court and was convicted of perjury. That's why.
He lied. Notice they're not talking about the Stormy Daniels letter, though, right?
Yeah, they're not talking about the Stormy Daniels letter or the fact that she owes Donald Trump damages.
Oh yeah, never mind that. Never.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that. No.
He invented this as his own idea to please the boss. Right. It's essentially admitted to that the boss advised him to do this, that this was part of Trump's effort to get elected, to keep this information away from the public during the election. It just can't be as...
Kind of like the interference of the Biden laptop, which nobody's been held account for, that they kept telling us was Russian disinformation, which turned out to be true. Same thing with the Ashley Biden diary.
Yeah, I mean, true. And you know, and it's a good point. These same people that are telling you this right now, that are lying to us on the screen right here, are the same people that told us those things weren't true that Coy just mentioned. Just think about that.
That's true.
They lied to us for months. They lied to us about Russian collusion. They lied to us about the Steele dossier. They lied to us about Hillary Clinton getting rid of, all those, classified emails. They lied. They lie. And they want to get up here and have the gall to tell us what about Trump and Michael Cohen and expect us to believe what she says. Think about that.
Yep.
They lied to us about
Exactly.
Coke. Oh, I'm not going to say that word. But they lied to us about what. Then it comes out all the stuff they said was a lie, and what we've been talking about was truth. And they want us to believe them still?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe anything they say.
Exactly. I was gonna touch the immigration issue, but I think I'll leave that for Thursday.
Okay.
But one last thing before we go is like Donald Trump actually talking about the first day when he goes in, and how BS the whole thing is. If you can't hear it, I'm sorry. This is the best audio that we've got.
So thank you very much. We had some amazing things happen today. As you know, my son is graduating from high school, and it looks like the judge will not let me go to the graduation of my son, who's worked very, very hard. He's a great student. He's very proud of the fact that he did so well. And was looking forward for years to have graduation with his mother and father there. And it looks like the judge isn't going to allow me to escape this scam. It's a scam trial. If you read all of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt. It continues, and it continues forever. And we're not going to be given a fair trial. It's a very, very sad thing. In addition, as you know, next Thursday, we're before the United States Supreme Court on a very big hearing on immunity. And this is something that we've been waiting for a long time. And the judge, of course, is not going to allow us. He's a very conflicted judge. And he's not going to allow us to go to that. He won't allow me to leave here for a half a day, go to D.C. and go before the United States Supreme Court because he thinks he's superior, I guess, to the Supreme Court. We got a real problem with this judge. We have a real problem with a lot of things having to do with this trial, including the DA, because you go right outside and people are being mugged and killed all day long, and he's sitting here all day with about 10 or 12 prosecutors over nothing. Over what people say shouldn't be a trial. So I just want to thank you very much, but that I can't go to my son's graduation or that I can't go to the United States Supreme Court, that I'm not in Georgia or Florida or North Carolina campaigning like I should be. It's perfect for the radical left Democrats. That's exactly what they want. This is about election interference. That's all it's about. Thank you very much.
That is true.
And he's right. Because people tend to forget that this was brought up to federal prosecutors and they turned it down. And you know how federal prosecutors are. If they can't have a surefire win of a case, they're not taking it.
That's
the
right.
previous DA had it and he turned it down, saying he wasn't going to prosecute it until this DA came in and they needed it to happen. So they made it happen.
Yeah, they paid him enough.
Yeah. Is what it really came down to. Like it's crazy to me that people still think that the justice system is working in their favor. It's not. It's never has been to begin with, but like even more so now, they're just being blatantly open about it.
Yep. Right in your face.